What's up, everybody? Coach Mills here, coming at you with a pretty regular intro. In this video, we gotta break down TenZ actually returning to the competitive scene. It's freaking nuts what is happening, and you gotta make sure you watch so you don't miss out today on these insane games where you're gonna be able to see TenZ pop off in pro matches. But go to the Gameplay website in the links down below for high quality advanced guides, tips, and tricks. We got in-depth VOD reviews over tons of pro players, including TenZ. So if you wanna learn how to play like the best of the best, then do yourself a favor, go check it out in the links down below. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Masters big tournament that Riot is hosting is going on right now, and it's very similar to the Ignition tournaments of the past. It's a really big tournament. Everyone that you know, all the big teams are playing in said tournament. Now, I'm not gonna get into the intricacies, but let's just say that one particular team, aka Sentinels, had a player that can't really play in the tournament right now for whatever reason. I'm not gonna get into it, like I said. But anyways, they were trying to find replacements for said player, and it turns out that there was a tiny bit of a leakage where they were in talks with freaking TenZ, who formerly was on Cloud9 and is still signed to Cloud9, but not as a currently playing pro player. He's technically on the bench for Cloud9, relegated to being a streamer. But then apparently our boy Tyson, aka TenZ, got temporarily signed to Sentinels to play in this Masters tournament as a fill-in. Now, a lot of people were speculating whether or not he was legitimately on the Sentinels roster or if he was just being borrowed temporarily. And the thing is, TenZ cleared this up in this clip that I'm gonna roll right now, talking about the fact that he's just a loan and it isn't permanent right here.
Yeah, so I'm on loan from C9 to Sentinels. So it's forever how long C9 loaned me out. They basically, Sentinels is just taking over my contract and I'm fully representing Sentinels.
Don't forget to cheat.
I actually don't know exactly how long the loan is, honestly. I'm just kind of like, hey, I'll play.
Now, that being said, however, even though TenZ says this, things are a little bit strange, because if you notice, TenZ actually has the Sentinels banner on his Twitter, and I'm gonna read you the competitive ruling right here. Sentinels requested an exception to the roster lock period to add a substitution to their roster. In light of the circumstance, the exception was granted. Per Rule 2.3 of the Global Competitive Policy, players may not play for or contract with more than one team at a time. To comply with this rule, Sentinels have acquired all rights to Tyson TenZ. TenZ will no longer represent Cloud9. Now, essentially, they got special permission from Riot, from everything that's going on, to basically steal TenZ from Cloud9 temporarily. But the thing is, you in the rulebook cannot just take a player with the intent to give it right back. So technically, Sentinels does have the rights to TenZ. Now, it's most likely going to be the case that Sentinels just gives TenZ right back. However, I could imagine a scenario where Sentinels legitimately wants to buy TenZ. Apparently, TenZ has been on a quote-unquote buyoutable contract for a while. Like, if some org wanted TenZ, they could buy TenZ, but whatever price it is, and I'm not sure what price he is, it's freaking high. It's really, really high. I mean, it's goddamn TenZ. Of course it's high. But the thing is, depending on how TenZ performs, and potentially if Sentinels needs a new member of their roster, not entirely sure, then TenZ will actually be a legitimate pick, and he might be worth the money, honestly. And Sentinels is one of the few orgs that I think could pull off this sort of purchase. I don't think Sentinels is gonna pull anything scummy like refuse to give TenZ back, but I do think that they might use this as a stepping stone to bring TenZ in. And if you aren't already excited about TenZ freaking playing in this pro match, you should. TenZ have never played with the Sentinels team, first off, and second off, TenZ will actually be apparently in LA, so he's gonna be on decent ping. He's not going to be on his freaking high ping that he's always playing on, which is going to be freaking nuts to see TenZ actually playing, because if you don't know, every single time TenZ has been playing in pro matches, he's been playing on like 70, 80, 90 ping, and you might be saying, hey, I play on 90 ping. Well, guess what? When you're at a pro level, when everyone around you has like 10 MS ping, they're just gonna have a huge advantage. And with someone like TenZ, who relies a lot on his quick reaction time, his nasty flicks, having low ping is gonna just completely activate him. Now, that doesn't mean he's gonna necessarily perform with the Sentinel roster. There might be some, you know, problems that come up because they have never played together. But when you take someone as skilled as TenZ and you pop him onto an already good roster, I'm so freaking excited. And if this video is releasing on the 12th, I believe their first game is today. So you gotta go check that out right after this if you haven't seen it. But I know that the majority of us here on the Game Leap channel are TenZ fans as well, so it would be awesome to go give him some support. But speaking of support, TenZ had freaking 40K viewers nearly on his stream after this got announced. Absolutely nuts, just breaking all kinds of records. It's crazy. Now, speaking of the Masters tournament, the big tournament and everything that's going on, there's some things that a lot of people are having some trouble with, because if for any of you who have ever watched Dicey like cover an event, it has been extremely entertaining, funny, informative, and a lot of people have loved watching Dicey. He's freaking made for streaming and covering events. Now that being said, Jake Leckley tweeted this out saying, super interested in Riot Games' criteria for being able to co-stream big events like Valorant Masters. Big names like Shroud, Myth, Ninja, and Pokimane get to, while pros like Dicey get denied. Can only hope more peeps get access as time goes on. Now I understand that they really want to get more eyes on the game. They want to grow the game. They had a really big question and answers where they answered a ton of questions about why this was, why they let certain people stream and certain people don't get permission to stream. And essentially it all comes down to they want to grow the game overall. They want to make the game as big as possible so that advertisers can come in for the esport, and that eventually there's a lot more money in esports for the players and all the people that run the esports, and it's just gonna flow a lot better. And in order to do that, they don't want everyone to actually stream the game, especially people that already have only people watching them that are part of the scene, like Dicey. They would rather get a lot of new eyes on the stream so that they grow the esport. And you know what? I get all that. I understand that perfectly well. But the thing is, when you take someone like Dicey, who has been doing this pretty regularly recently, and you deny him when a lot of us really like watching him for not only his humor, but information about what's going on and insight, and you just shut that down, it can be incredibly frustrating. And it's the same way for EU, where almost no one, in fact, I think no one is allowed to co-stream the events in EU. Now, me personally, I would much prefer a much more laxed approach, allowing a lot of different people to stream, even at the cost of maybe some viewership numbers, but I do understand from a marketing perspective, they really only want big names or their main channel streaming the game. But let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Do you agree with that, disagree with that? Are you pissed off? I really want to know your opinion in the comments down below about all the stories, including the TenZ story. Are you excited to watch him? And do you want us to cover how he performs in the games on this channel? Because we can definitely do that. But go to the Game Leap website in the links down below for high quality advanced guides, tips and tricks, VOD reviews. We got so much damn content on the Game Leap website that you got to go check out right now down below. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for coming by. I love your faces. See you tomorrow.